Carolina Panthers just acquired former Cleveland Brown quarterback Baker Mayfield. So there's a couple guys on the Carolina Panthers who are going to be affected by this, especially for fantasy. First one to come to mind is DJ Moore, the wide receiver one for the Panthers. Dugo, do you think that DJ Moore sees more production, less production, or kind of maintains where he's at with Baker Mayfield now at the helm?
Well, man, I think he's going to see a slight increase in production. I mean, not like a huge increase by any means, just because I think there's some young guys on that team that are going to be popping off a little bit more this year to give him a little bit more leeway, I would say.
Who do you think those young guys are?
I mean, Terrace Marshall comes to mind. I think that he has the possibility to not necessarily like pop off or anything like that, but I mean, he saw like 17 catches last year.
Something around that number.
I think he could possibly bump that up to like 40.
Yeah.
I have that sort of hope for him. Another guy that I think could possibly steal some receptions is Tommy Tremble, the tight end from the Panthers, who is going into his second year. I think that those two, as far as young guys, could steal those receptions. But, nonetheless, I think that he's going to be a little bit more productive. And by the end of the year, I wouldn't count him out to be a top 15, quite possibly top 12 receiver next year.
Yeah. Last year, DJ Moore finished as the wide receiver 18, in fantasy leagues. And, my man had a ton of productive games last year. So with Sam Darnold, he had the first 4 weeks of the season, he popped off for no less than about 12 points. Mm-hmm. And, he would have other games, too, to where he would do well. But, DJ Moore is one of those guys who saw pretty consistent receptions for the majority of the year. He had a floor of about 5 to 6 catches a week, typically. And I think that stays the same with Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. I think that DJ Moore is going to see better quality targets. So Baker Mayfield is an extremely accurate quarterback. DJ Moore caught 93 passes on 163 targets. I think that his targets remain around the same, but I could see him floating around that 105 number.
Sure.
105 to 110 number. And if he finished last year with, 197 fantasy points with Sam Darnold, I think that he could potentially enter the 220 club.
Okay.
Right? And so of wide receiver finishes last year, if he would have taken that leap to get around, 220 points from 190, mm-hmm. He would have finished in range to be a top 10 receiver. He would have just beat out Mike Williams.
Yeah.
So I think that with Baker Mayfield, DJ Moore takes a leap. I think he's going to be a productive receiver. I have him as a top 12 guy. Okay. And it sounds like you do too.
I would say that's probably going to be his ceiling for me this year is top 12. If I want to be lenient, maybe top 10, and that would be number 10, and that would be it.
Yeah.
But I just think, in the grand scheme of things, realistically, Baker Mayfield is going to give you a little bit more production than what Sam Darnold did.
For sure.
But I don't know if it's going to be as much as what we're really thinking of right now. I think it's going to be marginal, honestly. I just think he's just not going to make those stupid interceptions that Sam Darnold would continuously make. Mm-hmm. But, that's...
to be determined.
Yes, exactly. I like DJ Moore as a wide receiver, so that's why I have him up there. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't know if Baker Mayfield could honestly, sustain a top 10 receiver. I just don't know if that's necessarily in his realm, just with a running back that seems like it's going to be run heavy, or at least more reliant on the run. And then DJ Moore is just going to be living it up in play action and slants and, mm-hmm. Just in space, because that's what he's great at. That's what he's been doing his whole career ever since Ohio State, is getting in the space and just making the most out of it.
Cool. So we both got him on the uptrend then.
Yeah, man, for sure. I think a lot of this increase in production is just going to be more career progression than quarterback, honestly. Let's just say that. Okay.
I got DJ Moore top 12. Sounds like you do too.
Around the same. Yeah, top 15 for sure for me.
Cool. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comments. Thanks for tapping in with us. My name is Ja.
I'm Hugo.